Before we start today, I want to be totally upfront with my biases on this topic. I hate NFTs, and I have a list of reasons on why that's the case, but that's not the topic of this video. Frankly, there are more qualified people to talk about that and the harm they pose. But in the past couple of months, NFTs have been invading video games, most recently with the announcement of the Polium 1, the first NFT video game console. And there's a lot to unpack there.
Kiss me through the phone!
He copied my whole fucking flow!
Oh,
word for word,
shit.
bar for bar!
But that's a story for another day, because for all we know, this may not even see the light of day. No, today I want to give my honest reason on why NFTs do not blend well with video games. I would like to think I have some knowledge on the topic of gaming, so I wanted to break this down in a concise, bite-sized manner. And if you agree with what I have to say, that's great, and if you don't, that's also great. Regardless of what side you stand on, this is pretty important to talk about. This makes us ask ourselves what even makes a game, and if this is something we want to see in the development of games in the future. I encourage you to think about these questions yourself and maybe have a discussion in the comments. As for me, this is my own 2 cents on NFTs and video games.
It's not a liquid! It's a great many pieces of solid matter that form a hard floor-like surface! Ah!
Let me tell you all a story. It may seem unrelated at first, but bear with me. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are familiar with World of Warcraft in some way. It was and still is a gigantic force in MMOs and community play. Personally, WoW has been present a lot in my life, specifically with my older brother who played it for God knows how many hours. Notice how I said played, because WoW over the years has taken a large dip in its player base. But, once upon a time, WoW was the dominant king in the video game landscape, reaching a crazy amount of players and a cultural hold that
some consider to be unnatural.
In its glory, however, there was a dark side that was growing in the depths of the community: gold farming. Like in any online game like WoW, there is an in-game currency that is used to buy items and such. And some, not pointing any fingers, decided to take this to an extreme and create an illegal market that potentially, in its height, generated upwards of $1 billion a year. That is absolutely insane. Chinese players, most of whom were not doing this by choice, would farm the currency and items and sell them to players for real-world currency. This, of course, has been regulated since then, but the point I'm trying to make is that WoW stopped functioning as a game at this point and became a tool. It was an investment for those profiting in these illegal rings. And like history repeating itself, we find this coming to the public's attention again with NFTs and the attempt to incorporate them into gaming. The reason NFTs do not blend well with video games is that it destroys the fundamentals of a game and overshadows it with the goal of profiteering. The simple idea of, I can make money off this, changes the ecosystem of the game and turns it into something else. Some would say it becomes a job, and that's a very appropriate comparison. But in my own mind, there is still a difference. At least in a job, you are guaranteed a paycheck for your work. Regardless of the company's performance or your own, unless you get fired of course, you still get that payout. However, with NFTs, there is risk. You don't know with absolute certainty that you will come out on top with more money than you had initially. NFTs don't turn gaming into work, they turn gaming into gambling. Now, I enjoy gambling when the mood strikes. Heck, I'd be a hypocrite to not say that blackjack is fun. But there is an underlying distinction between video games and gambling. Case in point, take a look at those Vegas-styled video games. I am sure there is one weird person out there, but I doubt that any person who enjoys video games would claim, oh, Vegas Stakes on Super Nintendo is my favorite game of all time. Why is this? It's because the goal of gambling is to profit and come away with more money. There is no real in-between. I mean, you have some gambling incorporated in video games like in some RPGs, but it's never the underlying game, only a minigame or some side hustle. It cannot function on its own without some monetary profit. It's simply not fun at that point. If you doubt that NFTs are only there for making money, as some of you would like to believe, then let me clarify a few things. A non-fungible token is a receipt of digital ownership that is meant to be traded. Like, that's just straight up the definition. I mean, look at any of these transaction sites. The sole purpose is to come out with the most money. It plays off as a gotcha moment. And if you think that any of this can still function without turning games into gambling, let me take you back to the Polium 1 I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Do you know the reason why the console made headlines and was passed around on social media? It is because the controller included a wallet button. A wallet button. If that doesn't convey the true intentions behind this, then I don't know what will. I'm gonna be real with you all, I don't like getting negative like this. I truly enjoy talking about things in this art form that we all love and admire, but this is too important not to comment on. NFTs sap the life out of games and devolve them into casinos where only a few come out alive and the others are left in the dust. Luckily, with the recent crashes in the market, hopefully we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But until it's truly gone, consumers and gamers alike must do their part. If you don't want to see video games turn into gambling, then speak with your wallet. Don't support this or any company that tries to attempt this. Simply put, say no fucking thanks to NFTs in video games. This was truly a tiring one today, but thank you guys so much for getting to the end of this video. It really helps out the channel and it means a lot to me. This is kind of different from the normal videos we do on this channel, but again, I thought this was really important to talk about. If you're new to the channel and you like what you saw, consider subscribing, yada yada yada, normal YouTube spiel. But until next time, Jane.